The source for some of this information comes from Christopher Edward Hull's story, former economic advisor to Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Christopher's story was assassinated on July 14, 2010, by biological weapon. His assassination mirrors the assassinations of both Szymon Skolnick, along with Joseph Viles. Only 4 days prior to his death, Christopher wrote of an assassination attempt on his life by the Central Intelligence Agency, tied him with Richard Cheney, British Secret Intelligence Service, George Herbert Walker Bush and the false U.S. President, Barry Soetoro, known as Obama. Story was about to go into detail, in his next report, on the illness this attempt had inflicted, and how he had proof it was this box gang behind it. The original 10th of July report has since been removed off Story's website by the Intelligence Network. Due to the death of Christopher Story, this video is a re-release of a video created on the 7th of February 2010. This video has added information for the benefit of the viewer, in order to progress with further research of the Luciferian great work and the conspiracy behind it. What you are about to hear may shock you, you may even have some doubts. The information presented may be just some of the most important information you will hear this 2010. Alistair Campbell is usually as cool as a cucumber and rock solid in his delivery. But watch his actions on BBC TV during an interview on the Andrew Mayer Show on the 7th of February 2010. Now ask yourself, is this typical Campbell?
Yes, because, look, as I said, forgive me for this,
This is the question. I mean, this is the thing that people say you can't answer this question.
I've been through a lot on this, Andrew. And I've been through a lot of that inquiry. And Tony Blair, I think, is a totally honourable man. And I also think that what we've taken on this is, what I've taken on this, constantly, you did it again this morning, which is probably why I'm a bit upset, this constant sort of vilification.
What did I vilify?
Well, you compared the novel to the dossier and it's all fiction, all the rest of it. It's not.
So have we witnessed a genuinely worried Campbell sitting before us during this interview? What could be getting to Alistair like this? This man has been so bulletproof in the past. Yes, you read correctly, people. As of Wednesday the 3rd of February 2010, night of Malta, Tony Blair was arrested according to sources close to Christopher Story. Also arrested that day was Ben Shalom Bernanke of the Papal Nobility privately owned Federal Reserve. Why has this event taken place? Why was, night of Malta, Tony Blair arrested? Knight of Malta, George Herbert Walker Bush, and Knight of Columbus, John Bush get ordered to the White House on the 30th of January 2010, all under the guise of a friendly passing-by meeting. In truth, the World Court had ordered both of these Bushes to the White House, John Bush being tied to stolen Delmarva funds back in August 2002. Whilst many assassinations were occurring, people were asking where Knight of Malta, Heinz Kissinger, had disappeared to since early December 2009. It was thought that he was either in hiding or he'd been horizontalized. He never showed his face for months to come. Time will only tell. One thing's for sure, and that's the Knights of Malta controlled Virginia intelligence groups monitor and cyber attack those aware of a possible foreclosure of the United States Treasury as of the 11th of January 2010. After the report of Tony Blair's arrest, and just one day after this original video was released on January 8, 2010, we had British SIS commit counterintelligence against our intelligence. This confirmed that Tony Blair was in fact in the US, where it was claimed he'd been arrested.
I think the most difficult thing in politics is, especially when you've fought and you've won an election and you've come into power, as I did very much as someone who, in a sense, wanted to please all of the people all of the time. And we'd been 18 years in opposition as a political party.
Rupert Murdoch is a Knight of Malta front, placed in charge at Fox News as a spy nest for British intelligence. Knight of Malta, Tony Blair, is a loyal front for the Vatican. A Catholic convert, once he resigned from the UK government. An untouchable, so it would seem. Knight of Malta, Tony Blair suddenly shows up again, a few weeks later. This time he's in Nigeria and alongside Daddy Bush's son, George Walker Bush. The two tyrannical crusaders, united against the Middle East, now focused on the big picture of Africa. Adolfo Nicolas, S.J., the Superior General of the Company of Jesus, was quoted as saying, "The future of the Church is in Africa and Asia." So who might the next pope be shortly? Peter Codwo Apia Turkson. Is Turkson Peter the Roman? The name Peter comes from the word Pit, hair of Egypt, meaning the planet Jupiter. Jupiter being Zeus, the son of Saturn. Rome is situated upon the ancient land of Saturnia. What do all these buildings have in common? Acorns. For millennia, the acorn has symbolized the potential for great power in a small but potent package. The shape of the acorn is undeniably male, and it is of course linked to the oak, a strong and virile tree associated with both the Roman god Jupiter and the Celtic Druids. The oak was thought by the ancients to be the only tree that could consistently survive being hit by lightning. This and the abundance of acorns in some years make the acorn a perfect symbol for power, fertility, and survival. One of the 5 most powerful families on the planet are the Farnese, being papal nobility. Their name originates from a collection of specific acorns. This powerful family has always ruled from the shadows, controlling the Counter-Reformation. Only 4 other families have this kind of power in the unholy Roman Empire. These are the Orsini, Aldobrandini, Somaglia, and Breakspear. Listen to Christopher's story speak of his level of knowledge of the conspiracy.
US intelligence power was taken over to some extent, or to a considerable extent, by a German Nazi 5th column who have been running the show ever since. Now, Kissinger is, I believe, the key to this, and he was instrumental in persuading President Ford to dismiss William Colby as DCI, the Director of Intelligence, in favor of George H.W. Bush. Now, George Bush is the representative in the United States of Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, which is the German black agency based, believe it or not, in Dachau. And we call it DVD. I exposed DVD. It's nothing to be proud about because we've known about it for years, but I publicized it, and I know for a fact that certain intelligence officers from DVD have actually congratulated elements of MI6 on this exposure, because they think I'm MI6, which is of course complete rubbish. Anyway, the point is this, that the the operation against the United States has been run by DVD in Dachau, behind the scenes, and the same applies to the operation against the United Kingdom. Now, the DVD is self-financing, like the CIA, through fraudulent finance, and it advises the German Chancellor about its activities, but the German Chancellor can't tell it what to do, quote unquote. The DVD is running our lives and is the enemy within the enemy, okay? Now,
the Nazis were brought into our system by the Knights of Malta and its British intelligence. Study the Vatican's role with the Dragonovich rat lines known as Operation Paperclip. British intelligence created the CIA, being the merger of the OSS with the Nazi SS, funded by stolen Judaic Holocaust money. Here is the real power behind Tony Blair, the DVD, and all other agencies controlled by the unholy Roman Empire. King Juan Carlos is a descendant of the Farnese family. He was trained by the Company of Jesus. Carlos is the controller of the Middle East and the 12th Crusades. Titled the Custodian of the Two Holy Mosques, making him a head of the Equestrian Order of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. He's within, along with the Knights of Malta. Carlos may even be seated on the covert Jesuit Council of 10, above the assistancy of the Superior General. Finally, ask yourself, why the Knight of Malta? Grandmaster Matthew Festing recently visited Africa.